Welcome back to the Be Ready Utah PrepCast. I'm your host, Wade Mathews, again with Bryan Stinson, our resident emergency preparedness expert and outreach specialist, and we are talking about emergency cooking. We just had a great segment on cooking indoors and small stoves, and check that out. But Bryan, let's talk about some charcoal and Dutch ovens. I think it's everyone's favorite.
A lot of people like doing Dutch ovens, and the easiest way to use Dutch ovens is with charcoal. But during an emergency, you may not always have charcoal. So what do? You can use wood. The benefits with charcoal is the heat is a little more even. It's a little bit easier to control, but you still can use it with wood. So don't think, oh, I don't have charcoal, I can't use those. Today we'll be just demonstrating how to use charcoal. Might be a good idea to have some charcoal set aside. Don't store it in your garage. Have it stored in an outbuilding, but have some charcoal set aside for an emergency. A way that I like to use charcoal, I don't like to use lighter fluid. It gives everything a lighter fluid flavor. Plus, it's just one more flammable thing to keep around the house. I use something like this, just a charcoal lighter. These are really, really easy to use. Turn it upside down, crumple up some newspaper or something else flammable, jam it in the bottom. Put your charcoal right on top. We don't need all that. And then you light it underneath. Now again, we're not going to actually light it on fire today because this is pretty bad wildfire season. We don't want some of those embers perhaps floating around, but essentially that's all you do. Once the flames get the flames will get burning, it'll get the charcoal going. Once you see the flames start to die down, the charcoal starts to turn white, you're ready to cook with it. So that's an easy way to use charcoal. Now, you don't even want to be grabbing the charcoal with these. That's why I get my handy dandy tongs. So you can just pull the charcoals out, put them into your fire pit, or like what I've got here. This is actually a Dutch oven table. You can put the charcoal directly on the table. That's a really nice thing because it keeps it up easy for cooking. But when you're ready to cook, you can dump your charcoals out as if we were really cooking. A thing to remember about a Dutch oven, make sure that it's completely seasoned, and there's all sorts of places. Look it up, how to season a Dutch oven. Basically, the idea is it's filling in all the pores and making it so it's kind of creates a non-stick surface for your Dutch oven that makes it really easy to clean in or to cook in. When you're done, make sure you clean it and re-season it so that you're ready for the next time.
A lot of those that you buy, a lot of these that we buy now are pre-seasoned.
They are.
It doesn't hurt to do it again, though.
Right, and I very much recommend that. So when you're cooking, one thing to remember, you put about 10 to 15 charcoals on top, and 10 to 15 charcoals you put underneath, and in a few minutes, approximately the temperature inside of your Dutch oven will be about 350 degrees. 350 degrees, that's oftentimes the temperature that we use for baking. So anything that you would normally be baking, you can bake in a Dutch oven. And we've baked bread, we've done cornbread. I've done lasagna in a Dutch oven before. A couple of weeks ago, we did pizza. So yeah, Dutch ovens are great for outdoor cooking. I mean, not even just to mention the normal things that people think about with cobblers and doing your potatoes and chicken kinds of things. So a Dutch oven is a great investment, and these things will last many, many generations. So take good care of it, keep it seasoned, and it'll last a very long time.
And one of our favorites on scout camps was cherry chocolate jubilee, chocolate cake with cherry pie filling, and bring it out. It's nice and hot, and put the whipped cream on top of that. That's a great Dutch oven dish. And yeah, with the charcoal, you can control that heat temperature and just have it cooked just right. So I'm getting all hungry about that one.
It is about lunchtime.
It is. So let's go on to the grill, Bryan. Right? Or
okay. Let's just talk about this real quick. Not much to demonstrate here. This is just a simple smoker. You can go on and find out ways of cooking with a smoker. It's a longer process than cooking usually with a grill. It's a lower heat and longer, but that's another means of cooking food as well. That's what we'll say about that.
And the fuel, the fuel that you use in a smoker, Bryan?
Oh, smoker fuels, you can use charcoal. Some of them you can use wood pellets. It depends on what it's designed for. Many of them are charcoal and wood. But you know, talk to your retailer and see what they have, and think about what kind of resources can I have on hand and stored up for an emergency. That's kind of what I'd recommend there. Propane grill. A lot of people have these in their backyards and they don't think about this as an emergency preparedness kind of tool. But there's so many more things you can do on it than just cooking your hamburgers and hot dogs on the 4th of July. Now, that being said, if the power goes out and your freezer is starting to warm up, get that stuff out, get it on the grill, and start cooking it up so it's not a waste. But there's so many things you can do on your grill. You can not only just grilling meats like we talked about, you can grill vegetables. Other things you can do, you can heat up water. I mean, you just put a pot of water on there and get it warmed up. Use that for sterilizing water. Use that for making your cocoa, your beverages in the morning. You can use that for warming that up for washing dish, or propane grill burner. So anything that you're cooking on the stove, oh no, the stove's not working, you can use on one of these out here. But
yeah,
at the same time, you still can. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
The inside part of it as well. This is just a little bit easier because you've got the little ring of fire that you're used to cooking on.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Anything you can cook on the stove in the house, you can cook on your grill.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now, another thing you can do is you can turn it into an oven. You can put down aluminum foil to help diffuse that heat so it's not so direct. But something that I like to do is you can put a metal grill on it. Just something like that.
A
that
griddle.
Helps diffuse, a griddle, yeah. That'll help diffuse the heat so you're not burning something. If you're cooking cookies, bread, something like that, you don't want that direct heat on the bottom. You want it more diffused. Probably even better than this would get yourself something like a pizza stone. Pizza stone would even help diffuse the heat even better. Now, still, you don't want to put your bread directly on this. Get yourself just a little trivet or a little rack that you can put up so air can still circulate underneath. Then when you close it, you've got yourself a little oven there that you can bake in as well. If you've got a thermometer on your grill, that's an easy way to see what the temperature is inside. But you can also just get yourself a little oven thermometer and set it inside to check the temperature periodically. So these are some other things that you can do with your normal at-home propane grill that people, again, I didn't think I could do something. I didn't even think about that for emergency cooking. And speaking of propane, many people have these little grills, little burners that use propane. You can use your Dutch ovens directly on top of those. You can use these. A lot of people use them for canning. If you're into canning, you know how to do that. This is a really easy way to get those big boiling pots of water with your jars of preserves in it, and it keeps the heat out of the house. A lot of people do this instead of doing it inside, even during normal times. So these are all great things that you can have at home. You don't have to have all of these things to be prepared for an emergency. I'm just showing you an example of many different kinds of things that you can use for cooking, for baking, for grilling, for stovetop things. So all sorts of different things that you can use for preparing your food.
Exactly. Thank you very much. We do have two more demonstrations coming up in just a minute. We're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about cooking over a campfire, which is probably pretty common for most of us. And then what I'm waiting for is our solar oven cooking. I can't wait to talk about that. So we'll be right back.
Hey, hope you enjoyed this episode of the Be Ready Utah PrepCast. Comment or reply to us on Twitter or Facebook at Be Ready Utah with hashtag BRUPrepCast or in the comments on YouTube. Don't forget to share these videos with your family, friends, neighbors, and coworkers, because anytime is a good time to talk about emergency preparedness.